Mars, he drives cars, he stares and he cares. From drive to La La Land, holds our hearts in his hand. And every road leaves his mark. Ryan Gosling lights up the dark.
Hello and welcome to Good Boys Gone Bland, Season 10, Episode 2, Blade Runner 2049. I'm your co-host, Denali.
I'm your co-host, Ryan Interlinked.
I'm your co-host, Jace. Cells within cells.
You guys pass. You guys
Cells
pass.
within cells.
You guys are interlinked. What was with the scene? They would say things to make you like upset, right? They're like, if you imagine your parents having sex, interlinked. Sometimes I feel embarrassed listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers in the car, interlinked. Your grandmother naked, interlinked. Cells. Fuck.
Denali doesn't like the second half of the Weezer's collection.
Discography. Every album after Pinkerton is terrible. Cells. Yeah, you guys are not robots. And folks, actually the three of us are not robots. We're podcasters who do this podcast, Good Boys Gone Bland. And we're on Season 10 right now. We are a podcast that marathons and reviews 10 actors of a similar... 10 actors.
10 movies.
10 movies.
It is 10.
We review 10 movies of a similar subject. Jesus Christ. Jace, what are we reviewing this season?
This season, it's definitely not Ryan Reynolds movies, which I've said at least 6 times in the last week. We are
Maybe
reviewing
someday.
Ryan Gosling movies.
Yes. Honk honk.
Gosman.
Yeah, 10 Ryan Gosling movies this season. We watched The Notebook last episode, and we started off another banger, so to speak, at least critically, Blade Runner 2049. And I kind of like, before we get into the movie, are you guys familiar with Blade Runner? Because we're in dangerous territory again. This is a beloved piece of IP. I want to make sure that we know what we're doing going in.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the original.
I've seen the original.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't watch it that long ago. I think I watched it maybe before we started the podcast, but like within a few years.
Okay.
And realized after Googling some stuff about this that I just did not pick up a majority of the themes when I watched that movie. So
the movie, obtuse as fuck. They don't explain jack in any of these movies. And we'll kind of get into that in a bit. But I think we're in safe territory. Like, I think the three of us, we're nerds. We kind of pick up on this shit. So folks at home, don't worry. We're going to nail this thing. We're going to get into it. And I think Blade Runner fans, especially, what they want to see in a podcast is knowledgeable hosts and also audio-only improv. So on that, we are going to get...
God.
It's been a while, guys. It's been a while since we've done this, all right? And I want to make sure, because watching this movie, seeing replicants pretend to be human, pretend to be something else, kind of hide their emotions, and it's a hot button topic, it made me think about improv, how we kind of inhabit roles in the moment. We're improvising just like Ryan Gosling's character in this movie. And it's been like 10 episodes since we've done improv.
We just did improv at the end of the last season.
So it's been a while.
I think we haven't done structured improv in a while,
yes,
Ryan, but I do think we've broken into bouts of 10-minute improv sessions very recently. Yeah.
Okay.
We're like a 3-piece jazz band, and we just
Me
kind
and
of break
Denali
off
had a
into
good
jam.
one in Batman and Robin.
Yeah, we did pretty good. We were like a 2-piece there. But today, we're going to run through some exercises here. We've got the full crew, and I want to kind of start with something a little different that we haven't done before to kind of warm us up for the improv exercise. And folks at home, don't even fucking think about fast forwarding, okay? Because I can tell when you're going to fast forward. I'm going to stretch this out to the whole episode. This is going to be all improv if you try to fast forward, all right? So don't even try it. It'll go faster if you don't fast forward. We're each going to do a monologue for... we're each going to do a monologue for 60 seconds.
Wow. Okay.
All
That
right.
sounds so much fun and really funny. And
Okay. Look, we can cut this out if this doesn't work. But I want to try.
well, welcome back after that, folks. It didn't work.
Well, Denali, I thought you did
Yeah.
great. I
Yeah.
wasn't bringing the heat. Ryan, I didn't even try.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, guys.
All right. This monologue,
That's fair.
we're going to give the person a random topic, basically, to do the monologue.
So
And-
monologue,
Yeah.
not like present a side in a debate.
Yeah, you're
Like
just gonna
monologue in a character talking to someone.
No. You're gonna. I'm gonna give you a topic, and you can take that any direction you want. Okay, we'll do 30 seconds. We'll shorten it because this is our first time doing it. For 30 seconds, you're just gonna do really funny stand up for that one topic. All right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's-
Like, that's easy to do. You pull out your pocket. Really funny stand up.
and it has to be funny. So, who wants to go first for this? I'm gonna
Probably you.
I'm gonna pick a volunteer. Well, I can't go first because I'm the I'm the coach.
So, what's the difference between you going first or last?
Okay,
Why
so
don't you show us how it's done? You lead by example.
Ryan, since you're talking the most, I think you want to do it first.
Fuck
So I'm gonna give you a topic, and you are going to run with it. Okay? So your topic is Baby Yoda. Okay?
I don't know
Now,
anything about Baby
I'm
Yoda.
going
I don't know
to
30 seconds of information about Baby
start-
Yoda.
I'm gonna start the timer right now. Okay.
I don't know, and I don't
You're
know. I've never
starting.
seen an episode of The Mandalorian. I don't. I'm not someone who likes the spin-offs. I don't know anything about them. I think it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah.
You have 15 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. I don't know anything fucking about Baby Yoda. I just know it's just a character named Baby Yoda, and it's small, and it looks like fucking Yoda.
His name's Grogu.
See, I don't have the
Okay,
information.
that's
to talk about
30
that.
seconds. Ryan, that was a great monologue. We're off to a great start. Now, Jace, it is your turn for a 30-second butt guster. Butt guster?
That's good. That's good. That's what I'm gonna name my new toilet.
Butt guster. It does have a butt guster
It's
function.
got a guster.
Yeah. So, Jace, your topic. Ryan, do you want to give him a topic? Should I give him for my list?
Please do the list because
do the
I want to
list,
see what else is on here.
All right, Jace, you're gonna get V8 juice as your topic here. Okay. So just take a moment. Prepare yourself. You're gonna have to give a speech on V8 juice. It can go any direction you want. And I'm gonna start the timer now.
What? I don't get V8 juice, you know? I go into the store and it's in the drink aisle, but it has nothing to do with my truck. Okay? It tastes damn good, but it is nothing but
15 seconds.
non-power to a V8 engine. And let me hear it. Let me hear everybody here that loves a good old American V8 engine.
Woo!
Now, yeah, thank you down in front. So, other than that,
All right,
you know,
30 seconds. All right, that was great. I like how this is enough time for us to really get into these things too. So, Jace, great job. Character work, everything up top. That was
The
fantastic.
car season prepared me for that. I don't think
Yeah.
I could have done anything if we didn't record 10 episodes about a car.
Yeah, you were just it was coming straight out. It was just flowing. You were in a flow state. Yeah, you guys are neck and neck on this thing. I guess I could do a monologue if you guys
Yeah,
want to set a
you
timer
could.
for me.
Yeah.
Good.
Do you want me to pick from the list? I feel like that's unfair. Do you guys want to give me a topic? Because I
Since
feel like
you're just doing like things and not like social circumstances, I feel like we can come up with one.
Okay. Okay.
Crows.
Crows. Okay. All right. You got the timer?
Oh,
You
it
got the timer
started.
ready?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh man, what's the deal with these guys? Oh, they fly, they eat fries, and they're little guys. Why do they even tries? Man,
You have
these
15
little.
seconds left.
Okay. They go caw. And have you ever seen a crow walk in a bar and they're like, "Give me a pretzel, man," and I'm like,
Okay,
"Man."
that was 30 seconds.
Okay, whew, thank God. All right, and that is how it's done, folks. So I think now that we're all warmed up, now that we have annihilated people's guts, I think we can get into the real improv.
Fuck you, dude.
I can't wait to listen to that. I don't know fucking shit about Baby Yoda, you piece of shit.
And folks, don't worry, I'm gonna edit it so I keep the funniest parts. So it's gonna be what you
Oh, so
hear
it's gonna be dead air.
is the funniest takes. The best takes. Okay. So we did an improv game a long time ago that I haven't brought back in a while. And that's where I give you guys a circumstance and a character, and you guys have to guess the character that the other person is playing.
I like
think
this one.
we had fun with this last time, so I'm gonna put.
I don't remember what I did wrong, but you didn't like the way I did it.
You did Willy Wonka in the most like indirect. You went on for like a half
Corporate
hour.
businessman kind of fucked up
You
way.
gave Jace absolutely nothing about your candy factory, and you tried to behave like Willy Wonka in a bank. Okay, but
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I was the character rather than
Yeah.
giving him background info. Okay.
Yes.
I should not do that.
yeah, well, you can do it however
We
you
can.
want. Now, you two.
Do I
remember, you
win
guys-
if he guesses it right, or do I win if he doesn't?
You win if we all have fun here, okay? That's the thing about improv. We're not competing against each other. We're elevating each other.
That's where I
the
don't
big lesson.
understand. That's where the breakdown
Right.
Yeah.
of improv kind of loses me
Because
because, I've been raised in this society where almost everything is a competition.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I was at actual improv and people laughed more at me, I would feel like it was a competition. So I
No.
would want to win more.
No. It's
And be
improv.
funnier. I
is
want to be
like-
funnier and win more and then make
Yes.
more money and then get on SNL and then say something fucked up.
No. It's improv is nothing to do
Canceled.
with that, okay? We can speed run this. Improv is nothing. Improv is like making love, okay? You want
Oh,
mutual-
damn.
You finish first and then you go to bed.
No. Okay. I'm gonna message each of you a character, or I guess I'll text you your character. Does that work, or how would this work?
Yes, please.
Okay, and you guys, I'm gonna say on air what each person's character is. I have messaged each person the character. I'm gonna say fictional character for each person that they're gonna have to guess what each person is. All right, go ahead and take your headphones off right now, and I'll say which thing you guys are gonna do. So Jace is Buzz Lightyear. I gave him that one, and Ryan is Legolas. So they're gonna have to guess which one is which. Okay, I've given them the signal to put their headphones back on. So folks at home, you know what each person is playing. I'm going to give you guys a location, all right? Both of you guys are at the Statue of Liberty. And scene?
Hello, Governor. Oh, nice
God damn
day
it.
we're having, isn't it?
Hello, cadet.
Cadet, I am 1,000 years old. I must be a general or something. By this
Nobody's
point-
too old to join Star Command.
Oh, Star Command? You command the pricks of light in our skies?
We command the safety of the human race from star to star,
I freaking
universe to
imagine.
universe.
I don't see the stars very much because I live in the woods.
That seems like a perfect place to see
big
the stars.
city in the that's the big woods, big trees. There's cities, and I'm 1,000 years old. Last time I saw the stars, I shot one with my bow and arrow.
Interesting. Are you 1,000 Earth years old, or 1,000
Earth?
local years old?
Where's Earth?
Interesting.
Is that
it's in the
this
Milky Way
hellscape
galaxy?
I've been put
on
upon?
Huh?
It's a bit big, isn't it? Bloody hell!
The statue.
Does it come alive and attack your gates?
If we're to
Next.
come alive and
Next in line.
hello, I have got 20 tickets for myself and my Star Command cadets, including this 1,000-year-old man.
How old are your cadets?
1,000 years old, but my friend is like 2,000.
Okay,
He has
you'll
a
get the
council
senior
and everything.
discount.
Our cadets have to be at least 18 years to enlist to fight the Zerg.
Okay, they're gonna get the adult rate. You two come on through. You're gonna come right up to the statue steps, and you're gonna get the nice view
What
of
war
the skyline.
was this for?
Okay, right this way, sir. All right, you two have fun up there.
Is this when those little critters went and made that dragon real mad? I heard there was like 5 armies in that one. I'm not sure if I was there. I don't think I was there in the books, but I was there in the movies. But I only saw 2 of them.
Sir, you guys are gonna have to surrender your weapons here.
Weapons.
I can't give you my weapons.
I can give you mine probably.
I activate a laser pointer on my wrist. This keeps me
I'm
safe.
not sure if I have
The space
metal.
creatures.
Security!
I have metal.
This isn't the weapon. Don't worry. It's only a laser pointer.
Art thou hungry?
We're gonna end the scene.
I've got some bread. It's special bread.
Okay.
To infinity and beyond. He 1,000 arrows, 1,000 years old. Is he Legolas?
Yes, Ryan is Legolas.
Yeah. Okay.
He's Buzz Lightyear.
Yes.
Yeah. See,
I
because
thought
you
you were
can end
Kirk
the scene
until you
in,
said
like,
Zerg.
Yeah.
I forgot every detail I know about Legolas as soon as you said,
It's okay.
I'm Legolas.
It's
I
should've
started
talked
thinking
like
about
this.
Elrond.
yeah,
He's
that would have been
sexy.
good. You guys did a great job. Well, so I guess I'll do a scene with somebody, but how are we? Should I send? I'll do a scene. I guess.
No, I'm gonna do it. I'll do it.
Okay, you're gonna come up with characters that me and Jason
Yeah,
play.
totally.
Okay, that'll be easier. That'll be easier.
Can I get a song by Ja Rule and Jay-Z?
No, this happens every time.
It's a complex game because
Yeah,
I
this is
could have said to infinity and beyond and let him get it in an
No.
instant.
I thought you were Kirk.
But we don't want to do that. I want you to have to think a little
Right.
bit.
You want to
and that's
take
why I
then
started
give
with
it.
I live in the woods,
right.
kind of I'm 1,000 years old kind of a thing
No
to get you.
fucking way Legolas wouldn't have seen stars, dude.
I don't
What-
know where I'm going. It's hard to
I
think
think
on
that's
my
all
feet.
the elves do. They're like, oh, look at the stars.
Stars.
So I said made the dragon mad because I don't know if he ever met
Oh,
those.
smog. Now I get it.
Do you guys know that thing about Frodo not knowing Legolas's name? Like,
Yeah, I
it
saw
comes
that
from like.
meme.
Because they
Yeah,
never
like-
talk to each other in the
Yeah,
movie.
they never talk to each other. But at the very end, when Frodo's in the bed and he wakes up and he's like, "Oh, Merry Pippin," he's like, "Oh, Aragorn," and then like when Legolas comes in, he's like, "Oh," and he doesn't say anything.
Just spit an ice cube out.
He's like, "Oh, that guy."
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah, so excited to see
Okay,
you,
I
man.
got him.
Okay, all right, Ryan. Okay, yeah, go ahead and text us. Oh my God. Okay.
Take your headphones off.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Jace, I think, is Jack Reacher, like the Reacher series and stuff with like Tom Cruise was Reacher once, and then there's this other big guy who's like Reacher now. There's criticism about it because Tom Cruise doesn't really like evoke the description from the books, but I haven't read them, and I think Tom Cruise did a pretty good job. But the series is pretty good too. I think there's a second season coming out. And then Denali is the main character from Dune, Paul Atreides. He's like the son of this guy. His name's Duke. Duke's like Leto Atreides or something. And he's like they live on this water planet, but then they got to go to the desert planet Dune, and there's like sandworms and shit. It's pretty cool. Check it out. The second movie's coming out. That too. It's kind of cool. It's kinda
Can't hear
super
what's
thing.
going on right now, but I just like want to point out that he couldn't do a 30-second bit about Baby Yoda, but he can talk to himself for a full minute. Hey, we're back.
Ryan, I'm just
I
seeing
could
your
hear
lips
you.
still moving. For
I was
Okay.
giving the audience context for
I don't
your
know
characters.
what the All right, that'll be a treat for me in the edit. Great. So we have our characters.
And
Ryan,
your
do you wanna give
location
us-
is this is from Can I Get a
Okay.
men's restroom.
Okay. Oh, I am parched.
I'm not.
Hey, buddy, you know the whole rule about the stalls, right?
I piss wherever I want, bucko.
I respect that. Okay. Well, better zip things up.
Nice hog.
Thanks. I prefer to call it a worm.
A worm. I've seen a worm or two in the
Oh yeah?
military.
Oh, a serviceman.
Yep. 13
Right on,
years. I got major.
You made major? That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Well,
I just rolled through. Are you from around here?
That's a good question, man. I don't know. I'm kind of a
Applebee's
traveler.
in rural Ohio.
Oh, nope, definitely not. Nope. Here, let's go wash our hands. It feels weird standing here.
This is the final boarding call for Southwest Flight 2685 to Tampa, Florida. Final boarding call.
Fuck. Oh god, we better get rolling here. I got first class. What do you got?
First, I'm flying in seat 23A.
Oh well. Sorry, bud. I'm a bit of a big deal where I'm from.
Oh, where from? Where at?
Oh well, it's I mean, not much to say. It's hot.
I just want to let you know before things get crazy that I'm
Yeah.
tracking a terrorist on this plane.
Oh no. Oh, jeez. You mean like a guy who like tells a bunch of other guys to like go overthrow something? What? Oh. Who
Maybe.
is it?
He's a criminal
my-
that's smuggling arms between this location in Ohio and Tampa, Florida.
Okay, I don't think that's okay. Oh
Tampa,
man,
Florida,
bad.
Southwest Flight 2685. Your flight has been canceled. Sorry for the delay. You can see the Southwest boot for reticketing, but Tampa, Florida's gone. We just received word.
Damn it. Well, let me. I mean, we're gonna be stuck here anyways. What do you do for a living, bud?
Solve crimes, work as a special agent, hence the tracking a terrorist thing.
And you're a major in the military?
I was. I'm out now. I travel around with only my backpack and my toothbrush. I'm a bit of a nomad.
Huh. Okay, that's pretty cool. You got a partner?
Sometimes. Sometimes no.
Oh, I feel you, man. I know romance is a complicated thing. You know, sometimes you get into a situation and, I met the girl of my dreams the other day.
While you were traveling or when you were home where it's hot?
Well, I was just in a really low position, a low part of my life. And, she just kind of popped up, really taught me some things. Guy tried to stab me when we met, but it kind of worked out.
Southwest Flight 2685. Your flight has been uncanceled. They found Tampa. It was right there.
Okay, what are your hobbies, man? I've got a lot of hobbies. I like sword fighting a lot. It's kind of my favorite thing.
I think probably shooting guns and traveling and only my job. I don't think I have time for hobbies. It's been a pretty tough thing for me.
Yeah. Jesus, what the fuck are you? Okay.
Solving mysteries could be like
Oh,
a
mystery.
hobby.
What's like what's like your toughest mystery you've solved?
Catching this terrorist.
Yeah.
People
You think-
who deal with war crimes and
Okay. Man, oh man. You are an interesting guy, man. I really don't know a lot. I really know people, man. I can get into their fucking heads, man. Sometimes I feel like
hey, wait, can I reach around you? Get a towel?
Yeah. Go ahead, my friend.
Thanks.
Yeah. I don't use towels. Don't like to waste water.
Okay, I'm going to call scene.
Fuck.
That was like 5 minutes.
Folks, we just saw a great long form improv between me and Jace. I had to edit out all of the funny parts because it was too long. So, what you have
So
left?
this is like less funny. This is actually pretty good. So you both did pretty good. So, Denali, do you have a guess?
Kiefer Sutherland in 24.
Oh, that's pretty close. Jace, do you have a guess?
I need to compile the facts. I need to think.
Yeah.
It's from somewhere hot. Met a girl. Got stabbed. Likes sword fighting.
He likes to save water.
And yeah, are you the guy from Sahara? Are you the
You're very close. I like to
likes
call my hog the worm.
Dune, you are Timothy Chalamet's character, the
apologies.
Bismarck Sadarak.
I tried to be obtuse. Okay.
Good job. That's correct.
Okay.
You aren't gonna get it. I'm Jack Reacher, and I don't really know much about. I don't know that we have any type of information combined.
Oh my
I was thinking about pretending to be Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
as Jack Reacher.
That would have been good.
I remember we saw Jack. I don't know if you guys were there. We saw Jack Reacher in theaters, though, a group of us friends. I remember we were laughing our asses off because we watched MacGruber right before. And there's a scene in Jack Reacher where he's like, 6 Purple Hearts, Medal of Honor, silver medal. And we're like, it was too close. Okay. This is getting long in the tooth, but Ryan and I should probably do one together.
Okay.
Jace, do you want to give Ryan and I a character? Just because I have a list of suggestions, but I think it's also funny if you just think of one. In the meantime, presidential impressions. Nixon.
I am not a crook.
JFK.
Well, hello, everybody.
I think that is unjust. Okay, Jace has sent me a text. God damn
I have chosen your characters.
Okay.
Oh, God help us. Okay.
Headphones off, please. For their characters, we have Denali playing Laura Croft, Tomb Raider, and Ryan playing Dexter Morgan from the television series Dexter. They will be meeting in the catacombs of Paris. You have your characters.
Okay.
You will be meeting yourselves in the catacombs of Paris.
Oh.
Okay.
Hey, what are you doing down here?
Oh, hello.
Oh, we got a British.
How the fuck did we get Ryan another British guy?
No, I'm not from Britain. There's too many psychopaths up there.
No, I hear you. I've had many run-ins with creeps.
Yeah? What'd that make you want to do to them?
Probably shoot him or something, I guess.
Shoot them?
I don't know. I don't really know how I have these guns in these settings. Like, do I really need these wherever I go? Like honestly, when I show up to places like this, do I need to have these guns and to shoot anyone I encounter?
No, man, it sounds like you're a psychopath.
Are you okay? What are you doing here?
Me, I'm just laying out these plastic sheets. And if you stick around long enough, my sister's gonna come around. She's kind of like a cop, and there's kind of like a weird tension between us on screen.
Okay. Oh, I know how you feel. I've been in a lot of weird relationships myself.
Yeah?
Well,
How weird?
I guess not that weird. Just I'm a bit of a swashbuckler. I kind of travel the world and meet a lot of interesting people. There's a lot of tension. Anyways, do you want to help me climb this weird wall here?
Why are you climbing a wall? That's something a psychopath would do.
No, I'm not really a psychopath. I mean, I have killed, I guess, about 600 people.
What?
It was all
You've killed
self-defense.
people? That makes me really angry.
12 tigers.
That makes me want to kill people.
Okay. Well, do you want to help me find this idol?
Like the American Idol?
Yeah.
That's the only one I know of. If it's not clear, I'm from America. Forget
that's-
the British thing I did earlier.
That's very clear. That's very clear.
And I might be from the East Coast, but I spent some time in the woods.
No, I've been in the woods a lot. Yeah. I've been all over. I'm a very skilled at my job.
How do you get places?
I usually drop out of an airplane, or I splash in water. Here, let me jump up to this next ledge here. I'm gonna need some focus.
What's
Oh my
going
God,
on up there?
There's a tiger up here. Here, I'm gonna pull out my 2 pistols and shoot at it 17 times.
Did you kill the tiger?
It's still somehow still alive. I'm gonna jump back and forth
I'll
between
go up
these
and
two
I'll get
ledges.
it. I got these like scalpels and stuff. I'm not really certain if I also don't like people who hurt animals.
Oh, I slipped. Ah!
End scene.
What? Dude, what?
Oh, tough.
Wait, I don't understand. I have no clue. So you're a British guy
Who jumps out of airplanes and splashes around, and you've killed like 600 people, and there's a tiger that you have to fight. I feel like you're the guy from Uncharted.
Ooh,
No,
good guess.
but very close. Some people say he's a ripoff of me.
Indiana Jones? He's not British.
Just tune to the voice.
Okay, British.
No, it's
Hold on.
it's not me. And some people say I'm one of the most iconic.
Think of Doctor Who? It's only British people I know.
It's not Doctor
James
Who.
Bond.
I like to find magical items and
Harry Potter.
look. I don't want to brag about myself, but I am a bit of a sex symbol.
Sherlock Holmes.
I'm very triangular.
Laura Croft.
It's Laura Croft.
Oh.
I tried my best with the voice acting. All right.
I thought you were
haven't
doing
done
a good.
lot of
I
work.
thought you
Thank
were doing a good
Jace.
voice.
It's a tough role.
I thought you were trying to do.
All
I
right.
thought you were trying to do Tom Holland. Let's be real.
I know.
I
I,
thought
always
Laura
go
Croft
Tom
was
Holland.
American. I didn't know she was British.
I thought she was American. Who am I?
You're Dexter, right?
Oh,
You're Dexter. I got it. Like as soon as you said, "Are you a psychopath?" I'm like, that's Dexter. And as soon as he said, "Oh, I kind of into my sister," who knows? I was like, okay, that cemented it 100%.
You didn't think he was the guy from the Folgers commercial? That's what we were going for.
Folks at home, look up the Folger siblings commercial. We were just talking about that before this. There's very hot tension between those siblings. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe check it out. Okay, that was great, guys. We did a great job with improv. Folks at home, if that wasn't funny, that's because I had to edit it out for time. It's not our fault. But thank you to everyone who put in suggestions. I'm going to save some of this in the suggestion bank. We have a shitload on here.
Oh, this
so
was from our suggestions.
some of these were from suggestions, but we can save it for the next improv. But we got to get into things, guys, because we got a 3-hour movie that we have to review right now. So, Ryan, this was your pick.
Oh,
Do you want
it
to
was?
explain yourself? Explain
Yeah.
why you picked this movie. Give
IMDb.
the synopsis. You can't just give it off the dome. Jason and I give all our synopses off the dome. I feel like you could do it.
Oh man, but I look at it for like the year and stuff. Do you want me to do? You want me to do everything off the dome?
Just do it off the dome.
Okay,
Do this.
I'll close IMDb. This week we watched Blade Runner 2049. It came out like 2018, 2019, something like that. Let's see, 2017 maybe.
Yeah, it's 2017.
It's directed by a French guy. His name's Denis. It looks like it says Dennis, but it's Denis Villeneuve. And starring Ryan Gosling as Officer K and Harrison Ford as Deckard, and then some other people like Ana de Armas and Edward James Olmos pops in for like 30 seconds. Oh my god, love that dude. What else? Oh, plot. It's about
Ryan's lost. He's lost at sea.
I'm doing it off the dome. It's about this like society, man, and it's a sequel to a different movie where there's like replicants and stuff, and you can't tell the difference between a replicant and a human. But like replicants aren't allowed on Earth, man. So there's like this guy, there's this like section of the LAPD, and they're called Blade Runners, and all they do is hunt down and retire, quote unquote. I'm air quoting with my hands. They retire replicants who have like landed on Earth, and that means shooting them in the face. And Harrison Ford's like the best one ever. And so there's this whole movie about he goes and he falls in love with a replicant and all this stuff. And that's the first movie. And this movie's about Ryan Gosling. And he's a replicant, but the replicants now are there's like 40 years later, so they're really good. And he's also hunting replicants. He's a replicant Blade Runner. It's like a loop-de-loop. And so he finally finds evidence that Deckard had a child with a replicant. Whoa! And they're not supposed to be able to do that. Replicants are not humans. They're not robots either. We don't really know what they are, but they're like, they can't have babies, but the one did. And so the whole movie goes off and he runs around as super moody and the Earth's like destroyed. And Ryan Gosling's running around town. And then there's like these billionaires and they make the replicants. And there's like one replicant who's like the anti Ryan Gosling, and her name's Love. She's cool, and so she's running around, but she's the bad guy. She kills David Dasmalchian with a school karate chop, and then so she's hunting Ryan Gosling, but not really because Ryan Gosling's further along the trail. So she just follows him everywhere he goes, and then he finds Harrison Ford, Deckard in Las Vegas in this big statue that's like a mouth open like this, and then they find each other and they fight, and it's pretty cool.
And there you have it, folks. That's Blade Runner 2049. Thank you, Ryan. Well done. Yeah, I mean, this is a world that sucks, right? Like we've looked at worlds that suck. I was wondering, would you guys rather live in the Blade Runner world or the Mad Max world?
Oh,
Blade Runner.
Yeah,
this is a really interesting movie for us to watch right now because I'm reading the Hyperion Cantos. I'm on the third book. I'm on Endymion or Endymion, however it's
Sweet,
pronounced. Yeah. And it's just the two are so in parallel in this universe. Blade Runner is based off a book, and that book is called
Do
Androids Dream of Electric Sheep.
Okay.
And that one, they are robots. But in this one, they're kind of making them more bioengineered humans, where I think it's more ambiguous, right? Because these dudes are grown in sacks, but they're just kind of stronger, better humans, which kind of begs the question. It's like, they're pretty much human. They think like humans. They look like them.
So the issue in this one is that the Ryan Gosling's model, the Nexus 8s, I think, they don't have emotions, right? Like the other ones kind of do a little bit, like in the in the first Blade Runner, they've made ones that have emotions and they've made ones that don't. But like Ryan Gosling's generation is only supposed to obey commands. He's not supposed to get like angry and stuff. So in the original, you could see their brains like and like their eyes is kind of the portal to the brain, and like you could see them get frustrated when they would be put in these like emotional circumstances, and that's what the Voight Kampff test is. They would try to figure out the right answer, and they'd be like, "Why am I not helping the turtle who's on its back?" And they'd get really mad.
Right.
In this one, Ryan Gosling's not supposed to have any emotions, and so throughout the whole movie, you're kind of like, what is he thinking? Is he having an emotion right now? And for like 2 hours, you just think that, and it's kind of like really slow.
Because I thought it was more like a Jedi situation where it's like they can't have them, but they physically could, right? Like he's constantly pushing it down, and they're making sure like, hey, are you pushing it down enough? Honestly, this world is, I think this is kind of the anti-Star Trek. We were saying in a text thread where it's like, this is the end point of like the whole capitalist hellscape where it's like, all the plants are dead. You're eating bugs. LA is completely underwater under these flood dams. And it's like completely smoggy in the middle of the day. It looks like
Ocean wall.
nighttime.
And it snows, which it does now, anyways. But.
Which, well, that was interesting. That was the one thing in the movie that was getting to me. It was raining and then it was snowing, and I couldn't tell if it was just so drastically, like the weather patterns are so fucked up that it's just changing between the two, or if he was going to a different place.
No, it's all in LA. It's just that's the environment is completely destroyed.
I thought it was all microplastic just falling out of the sky. But yeah, like this is so fucking bleak. And it's like looking at Star Trek where you have something where it's like this awesome pluralistic society. All of the technology is used to make our lives better. But in this one, we're just continuing on like one guy lives a good life in this whole city.
And the plot of the movie is about them wanting to slaughter humans and essentially replace them with replicants, and essentially at their own profit. They want the world to run on replicants.
Was that what?
So what?
I mean, was he?
I
guess
think
he was,
Wait, what's the name of the company?
Wallace.
Yeah. I think Wallace wants to create the means of production as replicants, and then humans don't have to work. So one of the things that's not really clear is that, I guess it's kind of clear, is that there is off-world. There are locations humans can live on that are not Earth, but those aren't like Star Trek or other places where there are other nice planets. Like, we don't know if Mars is terraformed, so to speak, or what's going on. But replicants were sent out into off-world to produce materials and bring them back to Earth. And then there was a replicant on replicant war out there, leading to what you were talking about with why replicants are getting retired. They're the Nexus 7s.
They can't come back.
This whole crazy world building scheme of it. But I think, that Wallace kind of just wants to make enough of them to...
Yeah, I don't know. It's all confused, right? Because you know why? This is a faction movie.
No, right.
It is.
It's a faction movie. There's 3 factions.
I say
there's
no
this
just because
person
I
in
don't
the middle
want Ryan
being pulled
to
on
have
all
this.
sides.
I mean, Jace, I agree, because I thought of it as like a production thing too, because this movie, and it's funny because I'm reading a book on like colonialism right now, and like this mirrors a lot of that shit, right? Literally, Wallace is like, yo, every great empire is built on the backs of like an exploited workforce, and literally he's talking about slaves. And they're like, yo, they found a way to make slaves legal again with these replicants. And these replicants are creating like factions, like Ryan said, about trying to uprise against it. And the whole stratification of colonialism, the thing that makes it work sometimes is like having people think that they're on this higher hierarchical level. So you have the Nexus 8, right, of Ryan Gosling, where he's like, I'm not like you other replicants, man. Like, I'm fucking better. I'm Nexus 8. I follow orders. And there's all that shit. So I think there's a lot of, political subtext in this shit. But it's fucking bleak as absolute hell. I think this is one of the worst depictions of a future world, aside from Mad Max, that I've seen.
It's really interesting. The reason I mentioned Hyperion is that both of these really boil down to that us-them dynamic that has been plaguing humans for 1,000 years and will continue to plague us.
Well, that's what you think, not what my people think.
Yeah, well, there it is. And I think, interestingly enough, what I really like about reading this book at the same time that we're watching this, in that book, it's artificial intelligence. And at some point, when a human creates something like a replicant, and then that thing is allowed to evolve and have feelings and pass tests that I think we've talked about before, based on like humanity and your ability to be empathetic, yada, yada. It's like, at some point, it's like, well, that's essentially human,
right?
And we should learn to live with them and treat them equally, but we made them. Ooh, and they're stronger and smarter than us.
Yeah,
and we've got to go to war.
It's this thing where their only argument for why having them as slaves and abusing them the way they do is okay is because they aren't born and they can't have children.
Right.
Like, there's no talk about them not being like capable of understanding like rational thought or
Yeah.
like emotions or anything. It's just the fact that they weren't born and they
Right.
can't have babies. And that's like,
It's
I don't want to go
arbitrary.
into
Like,
that too
it's-
much, but
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's kind
Yeah.
of
It's like, what if-
it's set up as an absurd example
Yeah.
of why you shouldn't treat people differently because everybody's the same.
But
Right.
in planet, like in fiction,
Yeah,
accepted.
right.
Even just having like, what if you had a sterilized human workforce? It's just like,
Yeah.
it's still
Does that,
absurd,
does
right?
that take
like,
their
it's just-
humanity away?
yeah, it's just because you can't reproduce, you know.
I think the number one example of why this is the worst society I've ever seen depicted is that work can turn off your girlfriend.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
that was the bleakest thing I've ever seen.
So he has Ryan Gosling is a replicant. He's not what you would call a
Spoilers.
true human, and he's a cop, right? So, but he comes home and he's not supposed to have any emotions. And he's got this robot girlfriend who's like a hologram, played by Ana de Armas. And she is like the coolest. You know, she like loves him. She's excited to see him and hear about his day and everything like that. And then they're like making out. Not really, because she's literally a hologram.
She's a hologram.
And
Boop boop. Work is calling. Pause.
yeah, it freezes his girlfriend. Like,
Oh my god.
it's the worst possible. It's not just like, oh, you have a work message. You should go over
Yeah.
there to the receptacle and read it.
Yeah, it's not like your phone buzzing. And Gosling is like, he's literally what like the end point of an incel would be. It's like, it's one thing that he's like a cop that like captures slaves, but it's like he also just like talks to an AI chatbot as
Yeah.
his only reprieve.
I was thinking about that, and like sometimes when you're watching this movie, you're like, oh my god, this is so sad.
Yeah.
You're like, this is really, really sad. This poor guy needs to have some real human connection.
He's like Plankton from SpongeBob.
Yes,
Like, he's
yes,
lonely.
holographic meatloaf.
Yeah.
But by the end, not by the end, by 20 minutes into the movie, you're like, this guy loves his holographic girlfriend. And it's like the sweetest thing ever. Like, you can find love in things that aren't necessarily human to human connection. Like, it's absolutely wild.
I think from a storytelling perspective, I think that's amazing, right? And I think Ana de Armas like fucking delivers here.
She
It's like
nails it.
Yeah, nails it. But it's like you see this, and it's like people talk about how capitalism kind of creates atomization, right? Where it basically, because people are working all the time in the societies we create, it's hard to form connections that are real. And like the hellish again endpoint is to have a product to substitute connection.
Oh my
Joy.
god.
Named Joy.
Like
Named
Yeah.
Joy.
Enjoy.
yeah,
And-
like whole.
But
yeah.
but on the other hand, dude, find someone who looks at you the way Ryan Gosling looks at his holographic girlfriend.
I know, Jesus. It's hot too. The hologram
Oof.
and
They
him.
have
it's
some
great
tension.
chemistry.
The technology in this movie is like
cool.
it's cool, and it relates. I think it just comes back to me like you're left wondering what Offworld is like because there are hover vehicles. We do get the depiction, obviously, that Wallace Corporation was. My God, I think I'm gonna. Okay, wait. Let me rephrase my thoughts so I don't just go on a diatribe for 15 minutes.
Okay.
Wallace Corporation bought the company in the first movie
Right.
that made replicants because
Tyrell.
replicants got banned. But Wallace also was the company that was the guy that owns the company is a genius. He was the person that solved like world hunger by creating bioengineered plants. So they're a megacorp. They're probably the biggest I can do whatever the fuck corporation in our, local star system or wherever. You get a glimpse into what technology is like. And they've got insane robot drones that like Love is sitting on a recliner like fire missile, fire missile, fire missile.
That was a
and it's
sick
just like
scene.
really close to home, like with what's going on in
Oh my god.
everywhere right now. And I'm like,
Yeah.
So
I'm
I've
like,
seen this movie,
ugh.
dude. I've seen this movie probably like 5 times now, and I got more out of it this time than any other time.
Totally.
And things like that, like allegories for our war on terrorism, and like things. There's so many layers to this movie that even if we made this a 3-hour episode, we wouldn't be able to talk about them all. If we made this episode longer than the movie, we wouldn't be able to get to them. And I think that's why I like things like science fiction, is that it's set up to where you can make this world that's like super, super rich and you can make a picture worth 1,000 words. You can put something on screen that you only see for a few seconds, and you can make the audience think, oh man, our real life world's messed up. We got to change.
Yeah, good sci-fi is not just aesthetic; it's
Right.
it's ideas, right? And even to get into that aspect, like the whole Blade Runners catching runaway slaves. I mean, you look at the history of people talk about the origins of policing. It started out as slave catchers in the South, and it's like another layer of that in Blade Runner itself. And the other thing that makes it so hellish, I think, is having Jared Leto be the leader of it all.
Yeah.
I think,
But it was really nice of him to let them shoot the movie in his house.
a rectangle above water.
I will not come out of my house.
Bring the
You
cameras.
must
Bring the IMAX
come
cameras.
and bring them to me, and I will be filmed like an angel in the.
He is my least favorite part of this movie. I think he's just overacting so much.
I didn't
and
mind
I find Jared Leto so fucking grating in everything I see him in.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. But I think that's like, if they were like, we need somebody to play an absolute scumbag, an absolute monster, to where if
Yeah.
when you say, when he gets on his like capitalist mantra, there's nobody in the audience who's going to be like, yeah, I want to be like that guy.
I just know he's watching these reels of himself acting. He's like, yeah, I did so fucking good there.
He would do that no matter what.
Yeah, that's true. Just
So-
cast. Yeah.
I feel the same way about him. In this case, a super mega genius billionaire
Yeah.
who is blind and sees through a chip with robots in him. I felt like I felt like the first 2 times maybe that I watched this, I would get to him and I'd be like, eh. And for the podcast, I'm like, okay, we have a character who's not like any other character.
Right.
Gets a really small amount of airtime. How can they? Maybe he thinks he was doing good, but I'm like, he's doing a real good job of making me hate him
Yeah.
and being smarmy.
I wish it was Ben Barnes instead of Jared Leto. I feel like Ben Barnes could have killed this.
I wish it was Ben Bailey, the guy who hosted Cash Cab.
It was supposed to be David Bowie.
Is it really? Was it David
He died
Bowie?
before
Bowie?
Bowie.
Holy
I don't
shit.
know how to say his name.
Oh, David Bowie would have been great in that fucking role, dude. Like, he would have killed that shit. And it makes me even madder that Jared Leto took it. So, I mean, I guess we can kind of go beat. We already talked about a lot of the beats in here. Straight off the get, though, you hear that fucking soundtrack, and even off my cheap TV speakers, those big ass
Oh my
synths.
It was worth
like,
every
oh,
penny on that
man.
surround sound.
Oh
man.
shit. That was fucking sick. And then even just the title card, like I like a good a narrative exposition thing where they're like, it's the year 2049 and there's these things called replicants, and like it shows up in red and you're
Red,
like, oh
yeah.
fuck. I'm so hyped for this shit.
And the blade keeps running.
Yeah,
and running,
that's what happened.
running,
It was
and
Black
running.
Eyed Peas in the beginning. One thing that I think is going to affect my Gosling meter at this point, I think, is cool jacket. I think he has a cool jacket in a lot of his movies. This dude's got a cool ass weird ring collar jacket that goes over his face.
It's a sick jacket, and
Yeah.
he gets out of the car and he puts it up, and we haven't gotten I feel like a really good shot of him yet, and you're like kind of shrouded in mystery, and the scene is dark, and you're like, holy shit, and then come to find out the collar also just comes down like a cool fluffy collar, and I'm like, did they change jackets in the scenes? No. I'm
It's
just
a convertible.
too dumb to follow along.
It's a Why did they make it like this? It looks sweet though.
But then with the jacket, there's a scene where Mackenzie Davis
Okay.
is told to go talk to the man in the green jacket. And I was like,
Yeah, I
who the
didn't get
hell is
green
wearing
from
a
that.
green jacket?
You need to adjust your TV settings, Ryan. And then you have Dave Bautista show up randomly too. You said Mackenzie Davis. You got Ana de Armas. Like a lot of random character actors in this thing. About that David Bautista scene,
He's incredible.
you see him put on the tiniest glasses you've ever seen. Like microscopic little ant glasses held together by a thread over his face.
I really like the reveal when Ryan Gosling's sitting in his house and
Yeah.
he's framed. It's a gorgeous interior home shot. This is like how you shoot interior shots.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Ryan Gosling's framed by one window, and you see his tiny little pea head
Yeah.
like in the window, and then you see Dave Bautista like in front of the same size window, and he's just like.
I remember the reveal that Ryan Gosling's a replicant, and the reveal is his head gets smashed through a brick wall like 19 times in a row, and he's still
And
alive.
he ends up going through the wall, and he's still alive.
Like, and when that happened, I was like, I turned to my dad in the theater, I was like, he's a replicant, right? Like,
It's pretty cool.
because my guess was, oh, this is how he dies, and the rest of the movie's going to be a flashback, I think. Yeah, and Batista's character in this, it's brief, but it's so fucking sad because he's like a soldier. Like, he was made for battlefields, and he didn't want any more of it.
Well, and he influences the rest of the movie. Like, he's a very important character in the Blade Runner lore, and he's referenced every 5 or 10 minutes. Somebody says, "Oh yeah, I knew Sapper." And
Sapper and his crew.
he's the guardian of the bones, essentially, that they find that are very, very important.
Yes, the bones of Rachel from the first movie, which was, it was sad because I was wondering if she was going to make a comeback when this came out. She wasn't in any of the promotions, but you find out they basically killed her off like right after the first movie, right?
Well,
they said,
I mean, she had a child,
but they said 30 years ago, which was pretty much the amount of time that passed, right?
Yeah. Discussion of time, really quickly. Did the loss of data, the big shutdown, happened between the first movie and the second movie?
Yeah.
Okay. So they put out an animated short called The Blackout, which was pretty cool. Like they're all on YouTube now. If you guys want to check it out, it's like they did a bunch of like cool anime style, like kind of like animatrix in between shit. But yeah, they talk about the blackout, right? Where it's just like all records got wiped, medical debt, student debt. Honestly, that's the only fucking good thing I think I saw.
We're working on it. I don't know where to go next in the story, like in the story beat, because this is such a long drag of a movie. And we can't, number one, we can't go beat by beat, but also everything blends together really well. Yeah. Is there any sort of moment that stood out to you guys as when he's investigating things? Do you have a favorite moment of Ryan Gosling's investigation of the finding the kid?
The first memory bubble, when we meet Rachel and Decker's daughter for the first time without knowing, is this scientist, this PhD who is immunocompromised and in a bubble. And you get this beautiful visual scene of in a jungle, and we haven't seen any nature before.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
And it zooms into the tiniest little bug, and the bug's head there's a woman with this really cool device that's obviously moving it around and modifying it, and then you could see the bug's head changing shape and size. And this is the first time that Ryan Gosling, who's just been kind of entirely torn apart at the core throughout this entire movie, because he obviously doesn't want to just be a robot, right?
Yeah.
He's talked about this memory that he has. She views the memory that he has, and she says that it's a real memory. And he's kind of like, am I the replicant child?
Yeah.
And I think that's when we see right after that he went off baseline, right?
Yeah.
And you see him
the first time, it's the exact description, or it's a perfect example of the phrase 0 to 100. Like, he goes from not being allowed to show a single emotion to like uncontrollable, not rage, but like emotion, like just like bottled up emotion, and finally got let out of the bottle, and he just has to like scream and kick chairs and stuff.
It was a good scream. It was a great,
glorious scream.
Mm-hmm. You think, like, the girl who's the actual replicant, and she doesn't know it, from her perspective, she sees through these viewfinders, she was like, holy fuck, he has my memories. And then you see him go, God damn it! Like, freaking out. And she's like, that was a weird fucking day. This guy's having a mental breakdown.
Like, my first visitor.
It's like, oh, this guy's kind of weird, a little offbeat, kind of cold. And then just witnessing her first, like, mental breakdown for another person. Yeah, I mean, Ryan, to answer your question too, like the scenes that I appreciated where it's like you see Ryan Gosling kind of being whittled down, right? So what comes to mind is like the police station at first. When he first shows up at the police station, he gets the test. We talked about the interlinked cells, or they're saying shit to kind of throw off his head. And then you see how everyone else talks to him. Where they're like, oh, you don't have a soul, Kay, right?
Skin job.
Yeah, and he's so good at acting because his face is neutral, but you can almost see him wince, like a micro expression
Oh my
every time.
God.
And you can tell it's affecting him whenever they make those comments. And you think deep down, he actually maybe does want to be a real person. He doesn't want to be this Pinocchio boy. And then it builds up to the scene Jace is talking about, where he just finally fucking cracks. And, he's having these visions, we mentioned, these false memories of like a real person. And he's starting to think that he's like, oh, fuck, am I like this replicant messiah or something? We talked about Love earlier, who's kind of like the antagonist, I think, in this movie.
Love
She's kind
has
of
my
Kay's-
favorite line in the
What
movie.
was the favorite line?
What did she say? She says, do you enjoy your work?
Oh.
There's a scene where Ryan Gosling is saying, like, you must have he must like you. He gave
Yeah.
you a name, sort of thing. And then she says, personal questions are nice. They make you feel desired. And then she pauses for like 2 beats. And she says to him, so do you enjoy your work?
And he's like, I gotta get going.
He's like, fuck you. No, he says fuck you. He says, please be sure to thank Mr. Wallace for your time.
Yeah.
Instead of thank you for your time. And it's just like little exchanges like that. And my favorite is, I really like Love.
Yeah, they're sparring like from the first fucking second, like verbally, just doing like little micro, like they're like
And
negging each
I really
other.
like when this is very close to the end, but she's like, I'm the best.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, go ahead, Jason.
My favorite line from the movie is, I don't want to hurt you, but you're making it really hard. when Harrison Ford is beating the shit out of him, and he's just like,
Yeah, seeing Ryan Gosling get punched in the face like 19 times in a row by Harrison Ford was great. And Harrison's like, you could tell he's like actually winded. He's like, kicking this guy's ass for so long. Can't fucking do it. I think I threw something out. And then finally he's like, you want to get a fucking drink, man? I don't. He's like, I'm going to fucking keel over.
There's no other way to diffuse that situation. Like, fuck.
I'm fucked. I can't. It was such like a nice relief to see Harrison after all of that bleakness too, and to finally see like a familiar face in this, and then he's kind of instantly kind of humorous. Like it's kind of, you see like almost a Han Solo type.
Yeah, he's
Diffuse everything.
got the answers to everything Ryan Gosling's looking for, and the answer is nothing matters, right? It doesn't matter whether you're real or replicant. That was the whole first movie was, is Deckard real or is he a replicant? And by the end, the answer is, people can argue till the end, but really the answer is it doesn't matter. And so Ryan Gosling shows up, and it's like, I need all these questions. And Ryan Gosling thinks Harrison Ford is his dad.
Yeah.
And Harrison Ford's like, there's some dude in my house. And it's this really interesting dynamic. But
Papa?
Please.
when he says, is the dog real? Ryan Gosling asks, is your dog real? And Harrison says, ask him. That is a good line.
Yeah.
Why don't you ask
That's
him?
great.
Do you guys think the dog's real?
I don't think so. I don't think it's real because they've already
Logistically speaking.
Yeah, they've already introduced like the owl that's like the replicant in the first movie, and I feel like, I don't know, with the ecosystem collapse, and he said he found that thing. I feel like that was a designer dog.
It's just been so long since like the fall, and obviously he has bees, but are the bees real? Again, it does it matter?
Doesn't matter. They make honey.
Functions the same way.
But did those bees get birth, bro?
Well,
they make
do
fucking
people
honey, but I
think
don't...
bees have souls to begin with? Because I think it was about the soul. It was, if you aren't born, you don't have a soul.
Yeah. That's actually so my favorite scene in the movie is the soul conversation. And it goes a little something like, Ryan Gosling's upset that he's told to kill the child, the replicant child.
Yeah.
And she says, why does it matter? You kill people every day. And his boss, Robin Wright, the police chief. And he's like, well, I've never killed something that was born before. And she says, what's the difference? He says, I guess a soul, right? And she comes back with the quip and says, well, you do pretty good for not having one. And like, that's one of those moments where Ryan Gosling's acting, but he's not acting. Like, you don't know whether what they were saying to Ryan Gosling while they were filming him was like, hey, we're not going to film the other person saying these lines to you. We're just going to film you. Can you just stand here for like 5 minutes and just look at this wall? And then they film everybody else's dialogue after that. Like, he's so good.
It's almost like he's Christine in this. We watched Christine where it's
he's like a sexy car.
Yeah, but it's like you see the car. And
he is.
Yeah.
He was manufactured the same way.
But it's like you see the scenes with the car in the background, and you can imagine what Christine's thinking, right? You
Right.
almost see like Christine's expression change, but it's just the fucking car. I think that's like what
It's
what
great
Ryan Gosling is.
filmmaking.
The only thing missing from this movie, I think, was also like Christian imagery, because like I feel like that's a very Christian idea about what makes a soul, what makes a person, this like hierarchy thing, where it's like, oh, these people weren't birthed or whatever. I feel like that's a very philosophical, arbitrary thing, you know, not necessarily Christian, but it's almost like they're following some kind of doctrine. Because I mean, there's a whole thing with, because I mean, I was born by C-section. I technically was never born
Samesies.
by like these people, you know. Are we soulless? Are we recognized? You know. So I mean, does it fucking matter how you came into this world? You know.
Yeah, I don't know if this movie cares too much about the Christian
C-section babies?
theological debates.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which was nice. Which was
Yes.
nice. It's like if you draw a line somewhere and you're in sci-fi, it's like,
Yeah.
so we manufactured these and they're not born, so we don't think they have souls.
Right.
But they are very complex. They can form their own thoughts and they can live an average human lifespan. So it's like it's weirdly scary.
Do you
I
think this
for the
could
people.
happen in real life? Like, do you think legitimately, like, if this was legal, you think?
We're darn close.
Yeah, I literally think this would happen. Like, I think Amazon would literally make these people as pickers on their lines.
I think that's why like the biomanufacturing of this is so interesting, because you know you can take you could take a sperm and an egg from anybody and you can combine them in a test tube and you could make a human that way.
Right.
In this case, they took that to the next level and they gave them that's why the conversation about are these robots or not, because they mentally process so much faster. They're so much stronger. So are their muscles? They're not.
I know.
They're not Gattaca.
Right.
They're not, or
Yeah.
GTA. What
Man,
are they?
what are
But they
they?
bleed. They can take a whole lot of hits.
I mean, yeah, like it's just genetically enhanced, right? They just do gene editing to make someone completely biological, and without robot parts, it blurs the lines a lot.
It
So
just
I
it makes me
think-
wonder why humans aren't getting that. Like why there isn't. And obviously that's not the focus of the story.
Yeah.
But it's a good question.
In world, if you had the expansion of this, I can only imagine that if I was having a child and I was a rich megalobillionaire, I'd be like, yeah, enhance my child. I want them to be a human, but I want them to
So,
be.
I
But
think
like,
the
how would they pay into our healthcare system if they were genetically perfect?
the explanation from
I'm rich. I wouldn't. anyway.
my explanation, Jace, might be that the difference between the first movie and this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So thematically, in the first movie, the replicants are trying to not die. In this movie, the replicants are trying to live. And so the line gets a lot blurred in the second movie. But in the first movie, they had lifespans where they only lived for about 6 years. And that was a big explanation of the difference between them, because the guy at the end was like, I want more life. Like, that's literally,
Yeah.
he wants more life, but he's going to die. He's not human. He hasn't formed connections or anything like that, apart from the people he works with, because he's only alive for 5 or 6 years. Whereas in this one, they've solved that problem.
So is
They've
that
made they made them have not lifespans and everything like that. But now we have to come up with some arbitrary reason for why they're not human. Because the explanation was because they die super quick. But now that explanation's gone. They're not born?
I think that what you explaining that to me makes it a bit more sense, because I think, it's like Nexus 6, 7, 8. I think the first movie focused on the 7 model, and I think those had an undetermined lifespan. Like
Right.
they could live like 100 years.
Rachel was the experimental 7, but
Okay.
it was he was.
And the
Deckard was
ones
hunting
before
the
that
6s.
died early. That
Yeah.
makes got it.
But honestly, I think this is such a capitalistic world. It makes sense that they would withhold technology, I think, from people too. Like, I mean, it's like right now, like we have a lot of
Oh, the
means to kind
UFOs.
of- Wait, what?
UFOs.
The UFOs,
Oh yeah,
dude.
yeah, man. No, totally, yeah. It ties all in. But like, we've got the means now to kind of like keep people from starving and like getting sick,
Yeah.
or we could have everyone getting checkups all the time for free and all that shit. So it's like, it makes sense
And
that
ships that are bigger on the inside than the outside.
Yeah, and it's fucked up that they keep that from us too. Like, why is it bigger on the inside? And then why is that technology not made available? This world, it's fucking crazy. We live in a society. Man, the joy death in this movie, I just want to bring that up. It's fucking sad.
I like.
Jesus.
Oh God, I know. But think about how she was much more of a robot than he was, because she was literally
Yeah.
a program that's meant to love.
Right.
It's like the movie Her.
She's like, I love you, insert name here. Like,
Yes.
it
So
was-
there's things where you realize, you start to think, oh, she's like a real android. She loves him and it's very organic and stuff.
Yeah.
And then she does the canned company
Yeah.
line. And he even tells her to stop once.
Yeah.
But the thing about his name, after
One letter
that he
off?
finds out after
Oh,
the
yeah, it is one
freaking
letter off.
end, after she dies, he
Yeah.
finds out that that's like the pre-programmed name she gives to everybody. Killed me. Oh
That's
my
like-
god, dude! I cry like in 3 separate times in this movie. Oh my.
It's the last sliver, that thing he had, where it
Yeah,
was like,
he's all, his face is all busted, and he's like in the rain. He's like, my robot girlfriend just died. I'm not the chosen one. Everything I've been fighting for is lost, and I lost my job, and they're gonna kill me in about 12 hours.
yeah.
And then his girlfriend's like, and by the way, remember me? I was never in love with you. It was a robot.
Yeah, like, to explain, because she calls him, like, earlier in the movie, she's like, you deserve your own name. Joe. That's your name, Joe. And he kind of holds on. He's embarrassed.
Yeah.
He kind of holds on
And,
to it a
and
little
she's
bit.
like, you're so special. You are special. Not everybody's special. You're so special. You deserve a name.
Yeah. He calls himself Joe in front of Harrison Ford. And then she watches literally an ad on TV where she's like, hey, you're a great Joe. Like, it's embarrassing, and you can just like feel
It
his
hurts.
like,
You can.
Yeah.
It would drive someone to the edge if they weren't already there.
yeah.
It's interesting that what I thought was interesting on this rewatch is that it became clear to me, well, one, apparently he's just trackable all the time, depending on who you are. In the case of the LAPD, it is, I think, because they kind of own him. But I'm almost positive that the entire time Love was tracking him through his Joy remote control.
Oh,
And it's like,
no.
and he's like bringing her along everywhere, and it's causing shit. And I'm like, ooh,
But
man.
he can't go anywhere without her.
Yeah.
He's like, you think it's my hologram girlfriend that they own that's tracking?
That they can interrupt when we're making out.
Yeah. You think so for a super advanced robot guy that can see 20,000 DNA sequences
Yeah.
a second and then pick the two out, you think it would have been like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't.
Fuck. You
maybe I
think like
shouldn't bring that.
like if Tim Cook was like after you and you still have your iPhone, you're like texting people with your iPhone, like, oh, I'm gonna go over here now. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. You're talking to Siri. You're like, oh, hey Siri, glad we got away from Tim Cook and the Apple gang. Like,
So he's
That's
like,
what
you
literally-
should stay where you are.
okay,
Okay, Siri, I love you.
I love you too. Insert name here.
Fire.
I mean, the way this kind of gets resolved is that Deckard is captured, right? Like shortly after they meet by by Love and the gang, and he's like being transported, like like in a bunch of ships, right? And I guess like Kay kind of intercepts them. He mounts like a gun to his ship, and he's like shooting the other ships.
Fucking badass.
He flight simulator interceptor F1 super jets him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they crash, and then Kay becomes mortally wounded during his fight with Love. And you also kind of see Love's combat skills in this thing are fucking brutal as hell.
Yeah, when she does the axe kick and kicks him
Yeah,
in the
the
back
axe
of the
kick.
head,
Holy
and then it
fuck.
like the editing is amazing, and it cuts
Yeah.
to the Harrison Ford's viewpoint of that, and
Yeah.
it looks like he's dead. Oh my god, it's so good.
The worst was her like punching that guy in the back of the head and instantly killing him.
Oh, David.
This
Like-
movie's
Yeah.
so fucking graphic.
Yeah.
It's
And,
really
like,
graphic.
in tasteful ways.
When
Yeah.
Robin Wright's death scene
Oh,
with the cup
fuck. Yeah.
and everything.
Just like
oh my god.
she was hard as fuck though. She didn't even react. Like she's crushing her hand, and Robin Wright's just like, "Fuck you, man." Like literally does it. Yeah. And he saves Harrison Ford, and he's like, "Harrison, I'm not your son. I know you never thought that, but I just want to let you know that I'm not."
I did for a little while.
I did, and I know that's super weird. We just met, but the girl in there is your daughter, though. That's not a lie, and you should go hang out with her. Don't mind me. I'm gonna just bleed out on these steps.
I think I'm
Real
gonna
quick.
go ahead and
Take-
die
Yeah,
quick.
and
Take
then
that.
Harrison Ford's like, "Are you okay, man?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
Harrison's
And
like,
then
"He's
Harrison
probably
Ford
fine."
goes to the door and he just lays down and dies.
He's like, I saw you get stabbed like 6 times. Harrison just gave like one nonchalant, "You okay?" He's fine. He's fine.
Replicant super body. I'll be good.
The kind of the last scene you get is Gosling looking up at the snow, and I think he has his one last thing, because what they mentioned earlier with all the replicants, they said it's one of the most human things you can do is die for something meaningful. And that was the last little reprieve that he had, is that he kind of gave his life to do one last thing, was to save, the replicant child and lead Harrison to his daughter. So that's like his one saving grace that he had, and it's only at the last minute that he gets to have that. He's like a tragic ass figure, man.
Dude, the character work in this movie is just phenomenal. With Ryan Gosling, I think this movie is just absolutely amazing. It's kind of next level with the writing on it.
Yeah, I agree. I was so fucking hyped to see Gosling get cast for this too in 2016. I was so annoying about it because I was like, this is the guy. This is the guy you want in fucking Blade Runner.
We saw Drive, where his
Yeah.
job was don't react and then go 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah.
And then in this movie, that's like exactly what you want out of a replicant who's hunting replicants.
Yeah. But that's the end of the movie. Should we get into the meters here? Now, we didn't really discuss the meters, I guess, but what, Gauss meter?
Gasometer.
I fucking hate Gauss.
You got to do emphasis a little different.
Gauss-ometer, how Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, so we're
was
going to do
this
2
movie.
meters. First, we're going to rate how Ryan Gosling this was. Was this a Ryan Gosling movie? Was it not one? Should we even be watching it for this season? Or was it too obvious? We'll rate it 1 to 10. And then after that, we'll tell you what we really think of the movie, not of the gauze. I think it's my week, so I go first.
Correct.
I think this is going to be pretty high. I mean, we got a lot of volume. Rewatching this today, I was surprised at how much he was in the movie. We'll get a 2 or 3 minute scene with Love, but you don't get a lot of non-Ryan scenes. And the classic gauzes are in there. He's staring at walls. He's staring at people like they're walls. He's having sex with things that are not humans. Which is a big on the Gauzometer. I don't know if this would be a stereotypical Ryan Gosling movie, but this is the pinnacle of Ryan Gosling's career from my perspective. He did such a good job. He understood the assignment, and he was never like, oh, I'm an A-lister, I need to have more words. Or, oh, I'll do it, but I'm going to do it and be cool. Like, I really liked how self-deprecating, but not to himself, like how he allowed people to just shit on him for 3 hours. Not a lot of A-listers would do that. Not that Jared Leto really is an A-lister, but like, for instance.
Yeah.
I can't give much more praise than that. I think I'm going to go with a 9 on the Gauzometer. Because if you're a Ryan Gosling fan, you should watch this movie. It shows what he's capable of. But not all his movies are like action movies. There's some love interest stuff. So if you're into romance, you can watch this movie as a romance movie. You can watch this movie as an action movie.
Fucked up romance movie.
So, I'll go with a 9. I think that's pretty fair. A little high, but pretty fair.
You bring up some good points, Ryan. I have to agree because we got a lot of things on my list too. This takes place in Los Angeles. That's going to be 1 point. Ryan loves Los Angeles movies. He also, like Ryan said, stares off into space a bunch. He has those weird little beady eyes, and he's using them a lot in here. Cool jacket, boom, on the meter. Socially awkward, very. Every interaction he has in this movie is super fucking weird. Unrequited love. Man, it didn't work out in this movie. All right, he loved Joy. I don't think Joy loved him back because she's just ones and zeros. It's really sad.
You take that back.
It's not real, Ryan. I'm sorry.
That's interesting.
He
Just showing
doesn't
that the AI is 1s and 0s, but Ryan Gosling.
He's A's and T's and C's and G's. He doesn't sing in this movie. That's gonna be a little bit of a dock here.
Oh.
There's Frank Sinatra. There's Sinatra and Elvis.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's not singing the stuff though.
True.
He's not like, oh, I love this song. He screams. Really good scream in this movie. It's definitely gonna get a huge point there. And shirtless scene. We do get one in the shower here. I wrote that down. This is going to be an easy 9, I think, for me as well. This is very high. Definitely a Ryan Gosling feature. I forgot that he was the main character in this movie. Most of the screen time is this dude. Easy 9.
I'm not going to stray from. I'm going to give it a 9 as well.
Fuck yeah.
Still developing the meter. I like a lot of your points. What I did notice from this, my favorite quote is, "I'm trying not to hurt you, but you're making it really hard." Is something that I thought that he could say in The Notebook. So I think when he has these weird quotes that seem like they could had been said in The Notebook, he's gonna get a point for that.
Also, cells within cells interlinked.
Yeah,
that sales
that
thing
could have been in there
again.
too. He's really drunk in the house that he rebuilt. 9, I think fantastic showing, good airtime, on theme, but yeah, saving that 10. I think there's more out there.
I think we can go harder. I agree.
Yeah, and this isn't Cars. It's not the Cars season, so it's not just like not all 10s in different ways.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a Ryan Gosling movie where it's so high it scares us, just like Cars. Because like every time we watch an even more car movie, we were like, holy shit, this one is even more Cars. Like it's increasing. Ryan, I mean, so now we're gonna go in the movie meter. Ryan, I guess start us off. Like, what'd you think?
So there's gonna be no surprise. I'm gonna give this a 10. I'm just gonna color the rest of my review like that. This is so I keep a pretty active listing on my letterbox of like my ranks of films, and this is number 3 for me. I don't know why it's so high. Other than that, I fucking love it. Like if I was to give you an explanation of why, like a real good explanation of why it was so high, I would probably take 2 hours just by myself. But there's just sometimes you see a movie at a moment in your life when you absolutely need to see that movie. And I really liked when I saw this in theaters. Like it was just perfect. It hit everything perfect for me. I loved the original. I was super hyped for it, and it exceeded my expectations. So even on my rewatches, I still fall back into that memory of watching it. Same with La La Land, which we're gonna get to eventually. La La Land's number 4 on my list. I don't know why I've got these Ryan Gosling movies so high on my list.
He's got the bangers.
But no, seriously, like La La Land was huge for me, and this movie was just kind of like a be yourself movie for me, where like don't worry, you're human kind of thing. You don't always have to be someone, like you don't always have to be striving to like optimize or like be like super successful. Like sometimes it's okay to love your hologram girlfriend and just be chilling. And there's the cinematography in this movie really got me to like movies in a different way. I always liked movies, but sitting down and watching what Roger Deakins did with this movie is just absolutely incredible. I really now enjoy movies that look like this. Not movies that are necessarily made after, but also before. The way they do frame within a frame and the way they color grade this and everything is balanced so well. Like each shot is orchestrated perfectly. And the editing is just absolutely phenomenal. I think the pacing is a lot different than when I'm watching the old Star Trek movies right now. They're absolutely dog shit. And then I'm also at the same time watching Fast and the Furious, also dog shit. And so comparing how they do things is so much different. This was such a breath of fresh air. I think it's completely fair to give it a 10.
Hell yeah, man. And I kind of figured we would go here because, Ryan, I know you were a huge fan of the original Blade Runner, too, because we grew up kind of talking about that movie a lot, too. But yeah, man, this movie fucking slaps. Like, I remember when this shit came out, I thought it was a super worthy fucking sequel for a movie that's like, so fucking big in like the sci-fi canon. I think it was an aesthetic triumph. I mean, we were talking like when we saw this shit in theaters, the synths, the visuals, everything, man. Holy fuck, it worked. This dude, I mean, Denis Villeneuve, this is the guy who made Dune. I mean, so this guy's going to deliver on kind of every aesthetic aspect of this movie. There's political allegory that we talked about. There's like awesome philosophical conversations. I mean, we had good convos already just talking about this movie. And I think a good sign of sci-fi is after you see it, you don't want to shut the fuck up about it. Like you want to talk about what was in there, and it makes you really think a lot. I think that says a lot more about how like effective a movie it is than like, you watch Transformers. It doesn't exactly like stimulate you to want to talk about humanity and like what's it like to be alive and shit. This movie's fucking iconic. There's some great ass like scenes in here. You see Ryan with his cool jacket over his face in the mist and like all the rain coming down when they're fighting. You see the cells interlinked memes everywhere still too. Like there's a lot of shit that came out of this movie. I think everything is totally knocked out of the park. I think this is an easy 10. I really enjoyed it. You can talk about pacing in this movie. But honestly, I think the slowness for me helped. I think you needed slowness to get a world like this across. So I liked this thing.
I'm right there with you.
Woo!
We're giving it a triple 10, which isn't, it's like this movie's kind of right up our alley, I think. I mean, also critically acclaimed, well received.
Yeah.
What I liked, and I think maybe the first time I watched this movie, I would have been hyped. But if you would have asked me like 6 years ago, I might have given it an 8 or 9. But I'm really coming into, I would consider myself like a fan of high fantasy, like thematically. That's like what I'm gonna pick up for a book. And sci-fi, science fiction, I mean, shares a lot of elements with high fantasy, just the way the stories are developed, and I'm becoming more of a fan of it. So because of that, right now, having read Dune, reading Hyperion, watching this movie, it's just hitting at a really, all those waves are kind of crashing at the same time, and it made me really enjoy the film. I could totally I see a lot of notes about the length of the movie, and I thought it was going to be a drag, and I thought it was going to go slow. But then, like, the slow burn of the film is really important for the development of Ryan Gosling's character, and it makes it better. And I think it's also paired really well visually when you kind of, I don't know, I guess if two scenes are considered like a juxtaposition of each film. This movie really tonally shifts image a lot, taking you from a dark scene to a light screen scene to a dark scene to a yellow scene. And if you like look at I think it's called a movie canvas, right? Where they take the primary color of each scene and they make a gradient of it. There's a lot going on to change between dark and light that kind of, when you think about the movie, is hitting thematically with the beat points that we were talking about. So that saved me. That kind of kept me in it, that you were getting these beautifully well-crafted, whether it's CGI or not, scenes that are like, look really cool, feel futuristic. And I like the world. Super bleak, but like seeing it kind of mirrors what it feels like, at some point in our lifetimes, there are probably going to be mass migrations because we're going above the 2-degree centigrade threshold.
This is our 2049, yeah.
LA has just turned into this giant melting pot, like Russian, Japanese, English, all being kind of merged together. Like, I guess you would hope that would kind of happen in the future anyway if things were better. Like, everyone's on the same page. But like seeing Japanese, seeing hiragana, katakana on like places in kanji, and then the robots speaking Japanese. They put a lot of care into the world. I think they did well to keep people who liked the Blade Runner franchise happy, and I think it was a great sequel. So,
hell yeah, man, that's awesome. I'm glad. I wasn't sure where you were gonna go to, Jace, but I'm glad to hear that you fucking like it just as much as we do, man. I mean, that's tight. I also to touch on like the future LA thing. I forgot, like, they showed San Diego in this movie, and it's a fucking garbage dump for LA.
It's so
literal dump.
funny.
Like it was like Los Angeles, like, or San Diego district of Los Angeles garbage dump. It's the whole city. And
It's
I'm like,
giant, a vehicle bigger than anything we can imagine today. Just like,
and I feel like LA would annex San Diego and do that. What do we have a name for something if we give it 10 out of 10 for all our
Omnitrix.
like the Omnitrix? I mean, that was more for Ben, right? Because that was Ben 10 for Ben Affleck. It's like,
Well, we've been doing it since then.
The Centurion Gosling.
Well, cent would imply 100.
Yeah, it's close. DeGosling. That rolls right off the tongue, and people will know exactly what we're saying. Okay, great. Well, folks, I mean, it's obvious. We're psyched on this movie. Maybe see it if you haven't already. If you listen to this whole fucking thing without seeing Blade Runner, Jesus Christ.
Well, and
what
also,
are you doing?
like, it's okay if you don't, if this isn't your vibe. Like, that's perfectly okay. I think you should watch it because it does a great job of. It's a great movie. I think, like, objectively, like it's.
If you can't intellectually understand it, maybe you don't have a high enough IQ to appreciate Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, no, we do not gatekeep here. Like, that's one thing we're saying. Even when we rate something high, it's perfectly okay to watch it and not like it. And sometimes I think our better episodes are ones that are more funny and are more fiery, are the ones where we disagree. When we all agree with each other too, this is
I
kind of
like
just
having
us
a movie.
all,
Yeah.
complimenting the movie.
I like having a movie that we all enjoy sometimes, though. That is really nice.
Oh yeah, a couple times a season we got to do this. Sorry guys, but we got to do this
We
for
gotta
us.
fucking do this.
If we didn't do this, if we just did stinkers, we wouldn't have made it past Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, we do some for us. We do some for you, audience. There's something for us. But I hope you enjoyed it. I got the next pick for next week. All right, I'm between because I'm kind of looking at our trajectory here. Right, we got 2 movies that I think we thought were good. Right, like we kind of liked The Notebook. We liked definitely this movie.
We're going
They're
up
pretty,
on the roller coaster.
Yeah, they're pretty heavy movies too. I think I want to lighten things up a little bit. I think I want to kind of change up the tone here. And Ryan Gosling, he only has a couple movies, really. So I think we might have hit these anyways. I have a coin flip thing here I do want to televise for you guys because I'm going to be choosing between 2 different movies here. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So heads, we're going to do Crazy Stupid Love. And then tails, I was going to do Lars and the Real Girl.
Oh,
the
cool.
story of Ryan falling in love with a blow-up doll.
With another non-human. That's what I was referencing.
Yeah,
When I said, does it
yeah,
with a
and
non-human.
I think, yeah. So yeah, here we go. I'll just flip the coin because I can't decide. All right, fuck. It's tails, folks. We're gonna be watching Lars and the Real Girl next week.
I like that. I'm happy because I just watched Crazy Stupid Love like 2 months ago.
Okay, I haven't seen Lars and the Real Girl. I've seen Crazy Stupid
I've seen
Love.
it.
Okay, folks. Next week, I don't know. Maybe come and watch this movie. My cousin recommended it to me like 15 years ago, and I told him I put it on my list. And, well, Caleb, I'm going to watch it now. So thanks for the rec. We hope you'll join us. Join us for episode 3 of Gosling's Garden. Follow us, like our shit, subscribe, rate, and review. Please, we reviewed this movie high. Denis, if you're listening, rate us high, perhaps.
Yeah.
You guys want to close with a Goslingism, something that Ryan Gosling would say. Let's write him something good to say. Ryan, do you want to start us off?
Future.
Issues.
Disassociate.
Oh, God. This is going to be a mess.
Androids.
From, handed off the noun. Oh, I'm not in the noun position anymore. All right.
Reality.
If.
They.
Interlink.
Cells.
In.
Cells. Interlinked. I was hoping you would say interlinked.